So, good morning, all my dear learners and all my lovely teachers. I welcome you all today for this exciting session, which I'm sure you all will enjoy to the fullest. Children, we have had an eventful week where we have spoken about the importance of mental health awareness with various activities in which you all participated very actively and have learned lot of things, I'm sure. So today is the day 5 of this mental health awareness week, and today we are having our final activity. This activity is very special. Can anyone tell me why it is so special?
Because our stomach, because our body should be kept full in health.
Okay, Dinesh. Okay. Today's activity is very special as it will be conducted by our very own students, our own rising stars, our psychology students of AS and A level. So today we have with us our very own rock star who you all have known since a long time with a great leadership quality and presentation skills in him. He is none other than Abbas Vora, psychology student from A level. Along with him, we have a newbie to our school, but very enthusiastic and lively Akshay Sonavne, psychology student from AS level. All the participants, please welcome the speakers of the day, that is Akshay and Abbas. Now I welcome Abbas and Akshay to start with their sessions.
Yeah, ma'am, we'll take it from here. Thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to everyone present here today. To begin with, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Akshay Sonavane, and I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you about a very common feeling that we all experience. Today, along with my friend Abbas Vohra, we lead you into the experience of mental health world, and hope that we don't bore you out until the end. Over to you, Abbas.
Thanks, Akshay. Thanks, Akshay. So, everyone, you just pin me out because I'll be speaking for some time. For starters, is everyone there? Can I get a quick hand raise? I don't see everyone attending. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shugim, I'm teachers also. I need everyone present.
I'll raise my hand on my camera.
Thank you. Okay, so to begin with, firstly, everyone, I just want you to close your eyes for a minute. Just close it and listen to what I'm trying to say. Try to imagine what I'm trying to say. Imagine that one day you wake up in the morning and you have a fever. So basically, you start feeling cold, you have a high temperature, and you ask your parents, what should you do? How do you treat the fever? How do you get well? And your parents say that it's because of stress, exhaustion, the daily schedule. You take rest, but you still feel feverish. So don't say the answer, just think. Now, what will you do? Where will you go? Who will you consult? You have a high fever. Now take another situation. You wake up one morning and you don't feel like doing anything. You feel like you're not motivated. You don't want to do anything. You don't have the desire to make decisions or to change things. You start to think, what should I do? Will this flow look good on me? Will I be able to do what I want to, what I do daily? Or did I lock the door while I leave? You feel like you can't decide anything. You feel like you're irresponsible and you feel like you're careless. You start feeling low and weak. Now, what will you do? Do you need to consult someone? Do you need to go somewhere? Anyone who wants to answer? Please raise your hands. I'll ask you to unmute yourself. Yeah, you can open your eyes. That's all. Right answer. Do you need to consult someone? The question is, do you need to consult someone? No? Raj?
I prefer to consult someone for problem
Okay,
or
so
situation and all.
okay, thank you, Raj. So basically, what I'm trying to convey is that just when we know that we have a fever, we know that we have a physical ailment, and we know that something is wrong with us, and we know that we need to go and consult a doctor or a specialist. Similarly, when we are feeling the blues for no reason, it needs to be monitored, it needs to be given attention. See, whether it's a physical disruption or a mental one, we need both to be working together for us to grow and to nurture our daily activities. Before this session, I had asked you all to fill a Google form. And from that Google form, what we could conclude is majority of us, we all face the same problems from our daily life, from the daily pressure that we face. The most basic areas where we feel pressure or stress from are the pressures that we face at school or at home, the deadlines that we need to meet, and the amount of work that is given to us. Combine this with the lack of time in our daily schedule and with our worries about the future, our daily struggles. Is These are some very basic problems that we all face, and these all affect our mental health. To understand this more, let's share and watch a basic video based on the common pressures that we face. Varsha ma'am, can we please have the video?
Yes.
You've seen the pressures I was facing, and you've thought about your own.
Yes ma'am, it's all
Is it or
Yes, ma'am.
These people talk about the pressures they face at work and at home.
I'd say there's a lot of different pressures you face at work. My main one is kind of conflicting priorities, because you have your work planned out, you have your priorities sorted, what you think they should be, and then all of a sudden you'll get a load of work dumped on you.
Pressures at work are around deadlines. We've got projects to run, deadlines to meet, so I've got lots of things I'm trying to juggle.
The pressures I face at work are generally about getting things done well, and finding time to do that.
Time pressures. There's too much to do in a day.
Time pressure mostly, and also like wanting to do well. I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and sometimes you can't be when you've got lots of things to do, so managing time.
It tends to be around the day-to-day. So I have a lot of things that are organised in my diary, very well set up. I'm a very organised person naturally, and then you get the curveballs.
I'm under a lot of pressure to get things turned around in a very short space of time.
So it's really not knowing what's coming next, which is both a sort of something I thrive on, but really can be quite a lot when it all builds up. I'm a mum, and that comes with lots of pressures. My husband works long hours, so I tend to be the person that does all the running around and everything else.
Not much. I think I'm quite lucky. My biggest issue at the moment is my commute, because that causes a lot of stress.
The biggest problem I find at the moment is, saving up money. When you want to look to the future, buy your own house, it's very difficult as a young person to put some money aside and save it.
Pressures I face at home is having to work late and then getting home later. I obviously would like to spend more time at home, but
Away from work. Well, I think one of the pressures away from work, I would say, is actually trying not to be at work when you're at home, like constantly sort of being in touch, because I'm a manager and I have a work phone. I'm carrying around emails all the time, so the pressure I have at home is, in a sense, is to sort of like draw a line between work and home.
Added to that, there's always the daily taking work home. And that does add pressure, because often there are deadlines, there are reports to be written, there are things that people are relying on you to get back to them on. And you feel a real sense of a duty of care.
I'd say I've just moved house, so that's been quite stressful. Obviously the financial pressures of that, plus living out of boxes, having loads of stuff to sort out, changing addresses and stuff like that. So that's been a bit of a stressful time.
For me, it's my pressure for my study, because I'm studying in France in a commercial school, and it's very expensive.
the pressure to keep you on top of your house, and keep everything tidy, keep everything clean, make sure you're on top of your bills.
The pressure also during my exam, because it's quite hard, so I need to pass.
That there's only 24 hours in a day, and at some point you've got to take care of yourself as well.
Okay, so I hope everyone saw the video. Would anyone like to come forward and give us a small summary or something about the video? Raise your hands if you would like to speak, please. Come on, guys, don't be so unlively. I need interaction. Am I boring you already? Tanya, okay, I need more hands, come on. Okay, I can see through. Tanya?
Yeah, so it was basically kind of a survey of people. They were asked 2 questions about what pressures them during work and away from work. Most of them during work were like time management, meeting the deadlines, and keeping producing good work, keeping up to the excellence. And away from work, there were different views because the people had different personal lives, as some were parents, some were students, and some were just having issues with their personal life, as in getting home early or taking the work to home, completing the stuff they have in their personal life.
Okay, very well said. Thank you, Tanya. See, basically the main purpose for this video was to show that everyone around us, they deal with some mental health problem, they deal with some challenge or some stress that causes disturbances in their daily lives. As per a basic survey from the entire population on our globe, 19% of our adult population is suffering from some or other mental illness. They deal with anxiety, they deal with stress, they deal with depression, many more disorders. And out of that 19%, 48% is us teenagers, which is a very great proportion when you consider the amount of teenagers that are actually present on the globe. And also, it is not just present in teenagers or in adults, but 19% of children are also affected by these same problems. You see, these people who suffer from mental health problems, they don't necessarily need to be someone that goes to a doctor or only consults. It can just be anyone. It can be your neighbors, it can be your teachers, it can be your friends, the people you interact with, the local vehicle that you use. It can be anyone and around us. However, only half of that entire population that is affected by mental illness receives treatment, just because there are stigmas attached to these mental health problems. From the entire number of mental health problems that are present in the number of individuals in our globe, the two most common are anxiety disorders. More than 18% of people suffer from anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorders. They suffer from obsessive compulsive disorders, and they have panic disorders, or they have specific phobias that cause them to make anxiety. Anxiety, like they have compulsive thoughts. Will their decision come out to be true? Will it be fruitful for them? Will it not? The second most is mood disorders. Now, mood disorders are basically classified mainly into two groups, that can be depression and bipolar disorders, which affect nearly 10% of adults. These are basically characterized by the differences in regulating one's mood. However, one thing that is common in all of these is, just because of this stigma attached to these mental health problems, everyone pretends to be okay. We go through our daily lives and we pretend as if nothing is happening when we are fighting a war inside our own selves. Our inner conflicts become so difficult to treat with that we forget that, keeping everything aside in our life, we are deep inside a human being. We start burying our pain, our emotions deep inside, and we hope that it does not come up to the surface. But no matter how hard we try to hide ourselves, no matter how badly we try to maintain our image, in the end, it comes back to us and it starts affecting us internally. Let's see how we all feel that we are all different because we all deal with different things, but on the overall perspective, we are all similar. Can I have the second video, ma'am, please?
About an important and often misunderstood subject.
Yes,
mental health.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, not too long ago, I was experiencing poor mental health. I'm feeling much better now, though, but I've been through some tough times. Let me show you. Right.
How's it going?
Fine.
Varsha ma'am, it's not audible.
Sorry.
Now is it audible?
Well, a few of us are going to that place over the road for Elaine's birthday. Are you coming?
No, I can't. I'm busy. Sorry.
What if you just come for an hour?
I really can't. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm not, honestly. I've got so many problems. I don't know where to begin. Work's absolutely crazy, and I'm not going to make any of my deadlines. And it doesn't really matter because my girlfriend, she's left me. I haven't seen any of my friends for I don't know how long. To top it all off, my dad's really ill and I can't get to see him because the car's broken and I haven't got enough money to pay it, to get it fixed, and I don't know, you know? It just all feels like too much. I don't know how long I can go on about this. Okay, so I didn't really say this, but I wanted to. It's what I was thinking. Here's how it really went.
What if you just come for an hour?
I really can't, I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. As you can see, this was a bit of a low point for me. I was experiencing poor mental health and it felt awful. No one should have to feel like this. So I wanted to share my story so other people don't reach this stage. Did you know that 1 in 4 adults in the UK experiencing mental health issues each year? This week, 104 of them will take their own lives. You'll see how I got to this stage and how I recovered.
Okay, so basically what happened in the entire video was we first saw imaginative representation of what our everyday conversations are like. The man, he tried to explain himself. He had so much hidden inside. He was dealing with so many problems at once and it was all affecting him mentally. But on the second side, when we actually saw what happened, he just shoved all his emotions aside, all his problems with a simple statement saying he's fine. And the other person believed it. See, I'm not trying to say that go birth, I'm fine or I'm okay. They have too much power. But the power that is assigned to them is very wrong. We can't just hide our emotions and then deal with them personally, because dealing with it personally in turn will only affect our own self. At least once in our lives, we all have spent a day where we are feeling low, we are feeling lost or unmotivated. When we don't feel like doing anything, and we don't think that it's a good time to do anything, and it's high time that we start to embrace the imperfections and the glorious mess we are. See, our mental health problems or the problems that we deal with, they are not something we should be ashamed of. They are not what breaks us down, but these are the obstacles from which we are supposed to learn, from which we need to bring out something that is fruitful and we need to grow from. Just how we need food for our physical growth, we need to have a peace of mind and a proper thinking process and a proper stream of mind to develop our mental health properly. People often have misconceptions that mental illnesses have stigmas, that consulting help for mental illness would be problematic. So let's all come together and break few of these stigmas down with a very short activity that will be conducted by Akshay. Over to you.
Thanks, brother. Ma'am, can we have the PPT, please?
Yes, sure. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want it in slideshow, Akshay? Or
Yes,
this
ma'am.
will be
Yeah, it'd be
okay,
better.
slideshow. एक second. Then I'll have to share it again. Just give me 1 minute. Is it visible?
Yeah, ma'am, visible, ma'am.
Just let me know when you want the next slide.
Yeah, ma'am, sure. So the first activity we are gonna have is myths and facts. So I hope you all know what are myths and facts. If not, myths are basically statements that are not true, and facts are which are true. So, ma'am, can we have the next slide, please?
Yes.
So the statement one is mental health problems are rare. So I'll need you to put in the chat box whether it is a myth or a fact, just the word. Seems like we all have a good amount of knowledge about mental health. It is a myth, definitely. Ma'am. Yeah, mental health problems affect 1 in 4 people in a year. So even if you don't have a mental health problem, it is more likely that a friend, a family member, or a work colleague will be affected. Ma'am, can we have the next slide, please? So let's move on to statement 2. People with mental health problems are violent. Let's start with the discussion. It is a myth, unfortunately. You guys were incorrect this time. People with mental health problems are more likely to be a victim of violence. The violence myth is making it harder for people to talk about openly about the mental health issue. So it is definitely a myth. Moving on. There's not much you can do to help a friend suffering from mental health problems. Let's begin. Alrighty then, ma'am. So this statement is indeed a myth. If you know someone who is experiencing mental health issues, just staying in touch, like giving a call, is a great difference you can make in their lives, because it really makes a good feeling to have someone to talk to, Ma'am. Statement 4. People can't work if they have mental health problems. Let's myth, fact. Okay. Dhananjay Tiwari says fact. Ishika Jalani, fact. Okay, ma'am. So it is a myth, unfortunately. You guys couldn't guess it this time correctly. Mental illness is a very common issue. You might be studying or working with a mentally ill person. Many celebrities, successful stars have openly admitted difficulties about their mental health. So it is not an issue that you can't work with a mental health problem, but it does make it a bit difficult. So, statement 5. The stigma and discrimination around a mental health illness can be more difficult than the illness itself. Let's begin with the inputs. It is indeed a fact, you all are correct again this time. For in a recent survey, the 58% of people said the stigma and discrimination is equally or even more damaging than the illness itself. They also felt that this makes it harder for them to deal with their mental challenges and breakdowns. So it is indeed a equally important issue, that stigma and discrimination for the mentally ill person. So statement 6. If you use a mental health service, there is a likely chance that you will lose contact with a friend. This is a one I've heard a lot. So let's see the inputs. Yeah, so it is indeed a fact somehow. But if you use a mental health, there's a likely chance that you will lose contact with a friend. Sometimes friends feel like they don't know enough to be able to help or feel uncomfortable. However, it's little everyday things like phone calls or a text, as I said earlier, that make a difference. A text or a phone call especially can really help a person. Believe me. Ma'am, next one, please. People with severe mental health illness die 10 years younger. So let's begin with the inputs. Okay, okay. Ma'am? So it is a fact. It is not the illness that kills, but the discrimination. People with severe mental health issues often disregard their physical health needs and issues and thus have a higher chance to die of heart attacks and diseases, which is sad. So, statement 8. People cannot recover from mental health illness and it lasts for a lifetime. So, let's begin with the inputs now, shall we? Yeah, ma'am. It seems you all have a good knowledge indeed. It is indeed a myth. Many people can and do recover from mental health problems alongside professional help. The support of friends, family, and workplace are essential to a speedy recovery. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the activity. I really liked all of you so actively participating in it. Over to you, Abbas.
Okay, everyone, I saw quite a lot of enthusiasm in the activity, so that was good to know. Many of you were correct, many of you weren't. I hope the stigmas are broken now. Come on, just respond. Don't be so dull, come on. Okay, so basically, this activity we conducted it so that we could break the common misconceptions. Like many of us thought it's a myth when it actually was a fact, and many of us thought it was a fact when it was actually a myth. So it actually, forms kind of like a barrier for our mental health programs, and it starts hindering our progress. It starts restricting us from achieving our goals to get what we want in life. So I hope that after this activity, everyone is now ready to discuss the importance of mental health on a common platform and not use it or, isolate it as something that should not be spoken about. Everyone should come forward and speak about their past experiences or their current problems in a similar manner as we speak about their physical disabilities. Remember, no event or action is too big or too small. From not achieving your desired grades or not getting a perfect mark that you wanted to losing someone that you were close to, it all can actually make a deep impact on your mental health. So now, I would like to invite anyone from our attendees to come forward and share their past experiences or something that they went through that they think has impacted them or has, created an effect on their mental health and future actions or habits. Even the teachers are free to participate in this activity. Can I have your hands raised, please? Anyone who like to participate and share? It does not need to be too big. It does not need to be, something like a very bad memory that haunts you. Just anything simple. Someone? Okay. Sanya, can I have more hands? I need 3, 4 at least. If we all can agree that we've broken stigmas, if we all can agree that we understand the importance of mental health, we need to, also believe in it and put it into action in our daily life. If you're not taking anything away from our quiz session, it's going to be a complete waste. Okay, so I can see 3 hands up. Tanya, begin.
Okay, so the one thing which I can remember of, it's not a recent incident. It happened like in 9th and 10th grade. So there were a few things which were very surprising and overwhelming at that point of time. And you know, you're like 14, 15, you're a teenager, you get overwhelmed by feelings and all. So that's the exact thing which happened, and it dropped my grades very badly in 9th and 10th. The teachers who were teaching me at that time would know that I got very bad grades during my block tests and prelims. But then I obviously had friends, my family, and a few mentors from school itself who helped me to overcome that feeling. Now, currently, I still have those people with me. I'm very grateful for them. And the feeling which I had,
You're muted, Sanya.
You got muted, Tanya.
yes, am I audible now?
Yes, continue, please.
Yes.
So that's it. That's the basic incident which happened. It affected me for like a year and a half, and now it has reduced, which I'm grateful for, and it's all thanks to a few people.
Okay, we are actually very glad to know that, because it actually takes a lot of courage to come in front of 30-40 people to speak out of something that has actually impacted you. So moving on to the next speaker, Raj, you can speak.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. Actually, I'm disagreeing in some point you have mentioned by the Akshay and Abbas. If you are providing me the authority, then
just a minute. Raj, we'll have doubt solving and cross question sessions in the end, so just save it for the last. Do you have some experience? Do you have some experience to share with us?
No, thanks for that.
Okay, will do. Vaishnavan, please.
Good morning, all of you. Why all of you are so dull and no one is responding? First, I need to know that from my students. Okay, chalo. Thank you, Akshay and Abbas. You have conducted a very good session for all of us, even for the teachers. I just have a small incident to share. This incident, like, it is a very recent incident, and it is something which has happened with me in the past as well. So there were some things that has happened with me professionally, personally, which have actually affected me a lot mentally. But I would just say as in the presentation also we saw, and in the videos also we saw, that we don't acknowledge that we are going through something, and we don't acknowledge our emotions and feelings. That is what I feel, that I have never acknowledged. I have felt overwhelmed a lot of times because of my emotions and feelings. So the only escape I usually find is to work and then keep my emotions aside. But as Abbas said, we should not keep it inside ourselves. So that is this one incident that in the last few months, the last 3 months, I am dealing with a lot of things, but I am not really focusing on it the way I should. But I think that I will work on it soon. But I just wanted to share with all of you, with my learners as well as other teachers, that also in my life there is a very close person who is affected with mental health since the time I was very young. So I know how people who are affected by mental illness are. And I would say going through mental illness is obviously a very difficult time for that particular person, but the people who are around them also go through a difficult time. So we need to always understand, and we should never as we say, as there was one slide that people tend to lose relatives and friends when they go for a treatment for mental illness, and it really tends to happen. I have experienced that in my life. So I would just suggest all of you, and it's a quite good matlab, a friendly advice to all my learners also: be kind. Kindness is free. I always tell my students kindness is free. Give a smile to everyone you see in a day. Wish them, greet them. You never know what they are going through, and your little smile or your little wish may make their day better. Thank you, Abbas, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experience. You see, dealing with mental illness, we have another speaker. Shruti ma'am, please.
I just would like to add a line to Varsha ma'am's explanation. Ki, children, when we suppose you are into a lecture, by mistake teacher has skipped out your name. It's okay. You should not take it, too loudly. कि नहीं मैम ने मुझे विश नहीं किया, मैं कैसे मैम को विश कर दूँ. It is not like that. It is, you can wish. First, you all get out of that boundaries कि उसने मुझे नहीं किया तो मैं क्यों करूँ. It is never like that. We always can make a move first. Okay, just remember that. Right, Varsha ma'am? Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am, and we follow that in our lectures, that always the teachers wishes first. Our children are so reserved, I must say, but children, you all should always, as ma'am said, that first you break your own boundaries. And I most of the people, they create a wall around themselves, that they don't let people in. I would say ki it is good, because that protect us from, because everyone is not good for us, so it protects us from people who are not good for us. But in the process, it sometimes happen, the people who really care for you or who are really bothered about you, you push them away. So I would just say ki let people in your boundaries. Let them break the walls if they are willing to, and if you feel they should, and if you feel they really care, let them care. Sometimes we are very harsh on ourselves. I feel ki students and all the teachers as well, we care about others, but we are very harsh on ourselves. So I would just say ki first start taking care of your own self, and break the boundaries, break the wall that you have created around yourself, and let the people help you. Taking help is nothing bad. Always, you can always take help. Okay.
One more thing to add, you can always give another chance to everybody. Not more than two, but yes, one more chance everybody deserves. Right? Yes, I think
Yes,
Abbas, you
ma'am.
can go ahead. Otherwise, I and Varsha ma'am can keep on talking on this.
Yes, ma'am. We have another speaker, Mrunmay Gurve. Mrunmay?
Yeah. Hi guys. So according to me, I'm a bit of a sensitive person, and there are a few insecurities I have about myself. And from a past few years, maybe a year or two, as I grew up, my insecurities obviously grew up with me. And whenever someone even joked about a few things, I took it to heart, even if I may have not showed it that I was it affected me. I really took some things to heart, and like there are few things which I still did not forget from the early grades. And sometimes when I think of it, I think that I was a bit silly, but it it really affects. Like even if someone even jokes about something, we don't know if it can be a soft spot for someone, or emotional spot for them. And I'd really like to say ki people should be considerate of what they're speaking. Like even if it is a joke, or there are a few things which are absolutely not to be joked about. Yeah, so that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Very well said, Mrunmay. So basically, what I could make out from all of our speakers was everyone has something different to contribute. Everyone has one different suggestion at least on how they should, deal with someone who has mental health, or how they should encourage people to speak out. Dealing with mental health, it does not happen instantly. You can't just, I can't expect or be, even ask of you to just go to someone and speak to them, or confess to them that I am dealing with something. It might be very difficult to admit even to yourself, leave alone with others, but even to yourself. But until and unless you take the first step, you bring that wall down, it is not going to, it is not going to be fruitful for you, because in the end it will only harm you, it will only stop you. If you let your grass grow, it will always be greener. You don't need to compare with someone, you don't need to judge anyone, you don't need to ask someone to do something for you. Even if you're not able to do something for someone, just try not being the reason why someone goes through some problems, and you will actually end up making a difference. So in this positive note, let's all watch a final video and then we'll call it a day.
With the current state of the world right now, there's a lot of stressors.
All the pressure from
Is it audible?
With the current state of the world right now.
Yes, ma'am, it's audible.
All the pressure from coming from
Yes,
different
ma'am.
angles and all the expectations coming from different places, it made me lose who I was as a person.
I think what a lot of people struggle with now, especially teenagers, is putting yourself first.
Once I realized that I am stronger when I ask for help, like that's when everything changed for me.
Talking about your mental health with your parents, that's huge. Talking about your mental health with your friends, that's giant. Share what you're going through. Be vulnerable.
It's okay to take care of yourself. It's not selfish.
And once you start making progress, it's the best feeling in the world.
Even just you talking about your own experiences can impact someone else.
It's okay to struggle. You're not weaker for struggling.
I'm never going to be 100% perfect, but I'm figuring it out. And that gives me a lot of hope.
Basically, I hope that we all have something positive to take away from today's session. We all have understood the stigmas that surround mental health, the importance of mental health, and how it's actually affecting us. You don't, need to care for someone if that's too much for you. If you don't feel safe, do not go to someone else. But at least take care of your own mental health and prioritize it, because that is what's actually going to help you in the future, and that is what will allow you to grow. So on a positive note, I would like to thank all of my teachers and all of you, each one of you who has participated, who has been part of this session since 1.5 hours. I hope I didn't bore you out. You have something good to take away, and I hope that everyone has broken down their stigmas and is ready to open their own boundaries. Shuki ma'am, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I would really like to acknowledge you, Abbas and Akshay. Very well taken session. Very good, children. Keep growing and keep motivating and keep influencing people around you. Good work, children.
Okay. Yes, I would just say the same thing. I would like to really acknowledge and appreciate your efforts, Abbas and Akshay, and all my learners who have attended the session. I hope you all have had a good time. And really, Akshay and Abbas have given you something to take away from today, something positive for you all. And I think we can end the session for the day. I would just say to all my learners again, as we are talking about mental health, last thing I would say is always look around. There are people who care. Your teachers, your friends, your parents. Always try to speak, talk it out, and then you will be all fine. And always remember, you will be fine one day and everything will be fine one day. Okay? Chalo. I think Rumela ma'am wants to speak something. Yes, Rumela ma'am.
Good morning, children. First of all, very well done, Akshay and Abbas. Really, the session was taken up just like as professionals, and it's really very good. I heard the entire session. And yes, I also want to tell my children that teachers are your friends. But yes, we have to maintain that limit. But of course, you are free to come to us at any point of time, discuss your problems, Okay, we are there to help you out. Don't think that क्या फायदा है, क्या फायदा मिलेगा. No, it's not like that. At least we are a bit experienced. आप लोग को पता नहीं क्या लगता, but I feel कि we are a bit experienced than you people. We have seen a bit more world than you people, right? So कभी ऐसा मत सोचना that क्या फायदा है. नहीं, बहुत फायदा है. At least थोड़ा बहुत फायदा आपको मिलेगा. I assure you that. So whenever at whatever point of time you feel कि नहीं, we should speak up. Whatever problem is there, as it was already told, break out your stigmas. Just like whatever we think, उसको पाल के रखने में कोई भलाई नहीं है. Okay, whatever you feel, let it be good, let it be bad, speak up. Okay, then we are here to correct you कि नहीं, whatever you are saying or whatever you are thinking is not on the correct track. This is the actual thing. ठीक है, तो speak up. ठीक है, this is only my suggestion to all my learners, and have a great day ahead. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all the teachers. Thank you, Akshay and Abbas. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all of you. Thank you all the teachers and all the students.